It's a quiet evening. You're on the sofa. Your cat jumps up, settles onto your lap, and begins pressing each paw into your thigh. Left, right, left, right. Eyes half closed. A low, steady purr. You scratch behind their ears and think they're comfortable. They're happy. And that's partly true. But the real story behind what your cat is doing right now started long before comfort. It started with survival. Most cat owners have a name for this. Kneading. Making biscuits. It looks like a comfort behavior, something your cat does because they feel safe. But behavioral science tells a very different story. This behavior didn't evolve for relaxation. It evolved because without it, kittens die. A kitten is born blind, deaf, unable to regulate its own body temperature. But within hours of birth, it can do one thing: press its paws against its mother's belly in a steady, rhythmic motion. In 1930, researcher Xing-Yang Kuo documented this reflex in detail. The pressing motion stimulates the mother's mammary glands and triggers milk flow. Kittens that need effectively get fed. Kittens that don't, in many cases, don't survive. It's not a cute behavior. It's the first survival skill a cat ever learns. Now, here's where it gets interesting. In wildcats, this reflex fades as kittens grow. Adult wildcats don't need. The behavior serves its purpose and disappears. But in domestic cats, it never stops. Your adult cat, fully fed, perfectly healthy, still needs your lap every evening as if their life depends on it. And the reason has everything to do with what domestication did to the feline brain. John Bradshaw, one of the world's leading anthrozoologists, published a landmark analysis in 2013. He identified a phenomenon called neoteny, the retention of juvenile traits in adult animals. Domestic cats, Bradshaw argued, are essentially permanent kittens in their social behavior. They meow at humans the way kittens meow at their mothers. They rub against your legs the way kittens rub against the mother cat. And they knead exactly the way they did in the first hours of life. Your adult cat hasn't outgrown this behavior. Domestication made sure they never would. But here's a question almost nobody thinks to ask. If kneading is just a retained kitten reflex, your cat should knead anyone. Any warm surface. Any lap. But they don't. Most cats are selective. They knead certain people and ignore others. Why? The answer came from attachment science and a single experiment that changed how researchers understood the feline mind. In 2019, Kristen Vitale and her team at Oregon State University ran the Ainsworth Strange Situation Test on 70 cats. This is the same test developmental psychologists use to measure attachment bonds in human infants. The cats were placed in an unfamiliar room with their owner. The owner left, then returned. 64% of the cats showed what researchers classify as secure attachment. They explored confidently when the owner was present, showed mild distress when the owner left, and visibly calmed when the owner returned. That percentage 64 is nearly identical to what's found in human babies. Your cat doesn't just tolerate you. Research suggests your cat may be attached to you in ways that mirror how an infant bonds with its mother. In attachment science, there's a concept called the secure base effect. It means this: when you feel safe with someone, their presence alone is enough to calm your nervous system. You explore the world more confidently because you know where to return. Securely attached cats show exactly this pattern. They're calmer when you're nearby, more anxious when you leave. And needing that rhythmic, eyes closed, purring motion on your lap is one of the clearest behavioral markers of the secure base state. Your cat isn't just comfortable. Behaviorally, your cat is telling you that you are where safety lives. But kneading isn't only about attachment, it's also chemistry. In 2003, Patrick Pageat and Emmanuel Gaultier published research on feline pheromone systems. They found that cats possess specialized scent glands in the soft tissue between their toes, interdigital glands. Every time your cat presses a paw into your lap, those glands release a small amount of pheromone directly onto your skin. You can't smell it, but your cat can. And so can every other cat in your house. These particular pheromones belong to a category called F4, a group associated with social familiarity and bonding. It's the same chemical family cats deposit when they rub their cheeks against furniture, door frames, or your hand. But the paw delivery is different. It's deliberate, rhythmic, sustained. When your cat needs your lap, they're not just relaxing. They're chemically labeling you. In their scent vocabulary, you are marked as familiar, as trusted, as safe. And there's one more layer. In 2012, Ruth Feldman at Bar Ilan University published a comprehensive review of oxytocin in cross-species bonding. What she found was remarkable. Rhythmic physical contact between two bonded individuals, regardless of species, triggers oxytocin release in both parties simultaneously. Not just the one being touched, both. When your cat needs your lap, the steady rhythm activates the same neurochemical loop that bonds a human mother to her newborn. Oxytocin floods both your system and your cat's. At the same time, through the same mechanism. This raises an important question. How did a solitary desert predator end up bonding with humans through a baby reflex? The answer is 10,000 years of artificial selection. In 2017, James Serpell at the University of Pennsylvania published work on the behavioral genetics of domestication. His findings suggest that when early humans selected cats for friendliness, what they were actually selecting for was juvenility. Cats that stayed playful, social, and dependent cats that kept their kitten behaviors were the ones that thrived alongside people. Kneading wasn't preserved by accident. It was selected for, because the cats that kept doing it were the ones humans wanted to keep. Now, one thing worth paying attention to. Kneading with purring, slow blinks, and relaxed posture is a completely normal attachment signal. It means your cat feels safe with you. But if the kneading becomes compulsive, if it's paired with fabric, biting, wool sucking, restlessness, or happens almost constantly, that pattern may point to stress, anxiety, or insufficient environmental enrichment. It doesn't mean something is wrong with your bond. It means your cat's nervous system might need more support. If you notice that pattern persisting, it's worth mentioning to your vet. So, back to your evening. Your cat is on your lap. Their eyes are closed. Their paws are pressing into your thigh in that slow, familiar rhythm. Every press is a reflex that began in the first hour of their life. A behavior that should have vanished but didn't because 10,000 years of domestication locked it in place. It's activated by the same attachment bond that connects a human infant to its mother. It's reinforced by pheromones you'll never smell and oxytocin you'll never measure. And out of every person in their life, out of every warm surface and soft blanket, they chose your lap. That's not just comfort. That's not just habit. In a language we can understand, that's the closest thing a former desert predator has to saying you are home.